it's an honour to have the experience of burning our country. We've done it since I can remember. We got a property down at Binji for a cultural revival centre, 40 acres. And the first thing we done when we got it was burn it. And then you could hear sirens and everything coming out. Coppers and fireys and that, but we just said we're doing what we're supposed to get our country back healthy again. The thing is too, is the government agencies need to take into account that we read the land. The land tells us when it needs to be burnt. Everyone that's got any say over our country, we should have contact with.
We'd had bushfires, we have bushfires every summer, but we knew that this was going to be a bad summer.
We knew it was coming, speaking with the elders, we'd go out on country, especially with Uncle Les, and we knew it was coming. We've seen a lot of dieback in the bush from mismanagement of country. We'd even approached some of the agencies about, the people who manage this country about these problems, and they said it was just a natural occurrence, but I don't think it is. It's just mismanagement. And
we had no idea that it was going to be as bad as it was, so we were not prepared at all. We lost so much land, we lost homes, we lost lives, we lost a bit of our hearts actually, because it was so devastating. The only thing we could do was pull up our socks and start moving forward, and that is never allowing that to happen again.
Yeah, you've got all these agencies managing the land, so everyone's got their different management plans in place. To me, they need to sit back and reassess and start working together forward, utilising what's been known to be a proven quality is the traditional land management.
This conference is all about teaching other agencies what cultural burning is, what our traditional land management is. After we were approached by Australian business volunteers, the idea was to come up with a 2-day conference. We've invited agencies from right across the board, NGOs, government organisations, just too numerous to mention. If you had something to do with the land, we wanted you there, and we sent out the invites.
So just what I wanted to say was, I know we've talked about cultural burning. I know I have for years and years and years. And we all sit around saying, why aren't we kicking and screaming and doing something about it? So I'm thinking today is the day that we all start kicking and screaming. One voice is not enough. We need millions of voices. So I'm hoping that we can say in the future that all of us here were a part of that kicking and screaming.
I'm sure probably 95% of you are asking, why is ABV here? We've worked across the Pacific and Asia for the last 40 years, supporting stronger communities through business. We do that through volunteers. We're not first responders. That's not our gig. You guys are experts at that. We're good at just coming alongside community groups, businesses, and saying, what do you want to do? You're the head and the heart. You know what you want. You're passionate about it. But we can bring some extra skills to actually help you get there. We're facilitators of a conversation. We don't say that we're experts in what you do, but what we do love is bringing people that are passionate together to have conversations.
How can we increase capacity and competency to accelerate cultural burning in New South Wales? That question in another form: how do we get mob back on country burning and get mob at the table making decisions?
The majority of insurers out there at the moment, the mindset in relation to fire is pretty bad. I wish that some of these insurance company head officers could have been here today to see and learn about the cultural burning side of it. So if you did cultural burning all around the back of the bay, for example, if you're able to do that, that's going to provide a huge benefit for insurance companies, because they're then not likely to have the exposure of losses like they did last time when it came through, say, for example, in the industrial area. So you can go to an insurance company and say, you need to come on board with this practice for the odd time that a fire might get out and destroy some damage, because if we don't do it, you're going to have a bigger problem down the track and it's going to cost you bigger.
We're currently insured to put fire on ground now, so I think we're only 2 in New South Wales that are insured to put fire on ground, so that holds us in a good space. So with that, we can write our own burn plans, risk assessments, and get approval from RFS and other people that we're working with our burn plans.
And there's a number of us that can walk alongside you if you want someone to be that kind of second brain to think about what your sustainability pathway is.
We actually completed a small burn on the second day so that people could actually walk in there and see what it was all about.
So virtually we're just trying to reset the country again so we can manage it correctly. So it's all about burning country at the right time of year, reading indicators and using them. We don't want everything burned, but it'll only burn what needs to be burnt in the area. And just look how slow it's been. We've been here for 15, 20 minutes and it's only gone this far. So it's a slow process, it's a slow burn. You should be able to walk with fire and you learn with fire. That way you can manipulate it, you can utilise it as a tool then. A hazard reduction burn is there for one purpose, and that's hazard reduction. And they're not looking at the outcomes of health of country after that. They're just trying to find these, create these buffer zones and these safe zones. There's still moisture in the ground, there's still moisture in the litter itself as well. So this will flare up, like I said, around these burrows, and it'll drop again because we're burning this at the right time. You need to manage these areas correctly with these slower, cooler burns in these areas because they can get out of control.
So through this reset burn, we're going to propagate all the new growth, but the key thing is we're burning at the right time to promote the right things in this country type. So if we were burning at a different time, it might be promoting things from another country, which will allow them to grow here. So then we'll end up with things like our invasive natives.
Well, if you keep the environment healthy, it's going to hold its own resistance to fire as well, because you've got the right plants in the right area. So we look at that as well. This tradition is carried on through generations to heal country, heal ourselves.
They're taking us seriously and realising that our traditional land management isn't just stories that have come down from the old people. It's real. It's how we've looked after the land and how we kept the land for 65,000 years before colonisation. They've been able to stand up and look and say, wow, that's true.